DramaCityProductions.com.
You are plugged in for the Podcast Wrestling Society, where you can get dynamic weekly pro wrestling and MMA related content. Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PODWRES Society so that you can stay in the know.
Faith is the place, and the sky's the limit.
And if you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and hit that subscribe button.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Now, your host, he is the
One and only
Troy Adams.
Drop down, tackle, hip toss, get it again. Welcome to Wrestling Wednesday, brought to you by the Podcast Wrestling Society. I'm your loving leader, benevolent host, Midwest Monster, and the crown jewel of the society, Troy Adams. And teaming up with me today, coming in for the hot tag, he is the Bart to my Billy Gunn. He is Greg. What up, Greg?
Why the hell am I Bart?
Because you're bombastic Bart.
Good grief.
And I'm Billy. I'm Mr. Ass. I'm not just ass. I am Mr. Ass. All right.
Oh.
Good Lord. Oh, and it's very pertinent to what we're talking about today because today, ladies.
Oh, great. We're talking about asses. You hear that, everyone?
Exactly.
Please listen. We're talking about asses today.
Pay close attention. Lots of ass. No, I'm just kidding. But
kidding? Oh, I'm out.
yeah, Greg's out. The rest of y'all stick around. But we are going to be talking about a show. I'm sorry. That's the next episode that Billy and Bart are on. But we are diving headfirst into a year where Billy and Bart Gunn were featured as tag team champions in the WWF. It's 1995, a year in wrestling review. We are officially out of the crap that was the Vince Russo era of WCW, and we're diving headfirst into the crap that was the year 1995 in professional wrestling. Are you ready for this, Greg?
Hell no.
And I don't blame you whatsoever. Just as a heads up today, we are covering SuperBrawl V from WCW and the Royal Rumble from WWF. I don't feel that the Royal Rumble, and you were saying this as well, I don't feel that the Royal Rumble was a crap show by any means. It just, I don't know. I feel like it lacked some star power.
I'm going to say the same thing I said about quite a few pay-per-views in that year. I feel like they were all extended episodes of Raw.
Yeah, they weren't like super special. As far as SuperBrawl, again, like I don't know. It felt like a weird. 1995 just felt like growing pains for the wrestling industry, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
like they were getting out of cartoony BS and moving.
Nitro
more.
was getting ready to launch, so I mean, like we're about to get real competition, so to speak. So yeah.
Yeah, and the Dungeon of Doom was still, it was a big thing.
It was on fire, man.
Oh, yeah. And WWF was, as much as I love this guy, they had Diesel on top. So, if any of you have ever heard stories about him, he's the lowest drawing champion in WWF history. And I'm not blaming him at all. I mean, if you look at the undercard...
I'm a huge Nash mark still, so...
Yeah.
I'm not going to...
Look at the undercard of these shows that he's on. Come the hell on. You and I just had the discussion about WrestleMania 11. Weak sauce, bro. Especially for your paper.
But his match was probably the best match of the card. So,
by default, I say. But yeah.
It's still good though.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was good.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah, it was passable.
Lowercase GOOD.
Yeah. Nothing to write home about, I'll say that. But before we dive headfirst into all of that, we have some stuff to take care of. Of course, first we want to let you know I'm going to switch up our shilling this week. I want to let you know right now about, with Christmas right around the corner, and I guess Hanukkah is officially wrapped up. So, whatever, if you want to buy some post-Hanukkah gifts, we've got our Redbubble and Spreadshirt stores. We got 2 merchandise shops online that you need to check out. The first one is redbubble.com/people/pod Society. The second one is shop.spreadshirt.com/podcast-wrestling-society. We got links down below in the description of the podcast, and as always, you can check our social media. We got links on there as well. We got great designs, and we're coming out with more and more every single week. We got the Podcast Wrestling Society logo in the style of the NWO, the style of the old Raw logo, the SmackDown Live, Ico Pro logos, the UFC logo. We got so much on there. We've even got some joke ones like Big Sweaty Men, pal, and we'll light him on fire, then he's gone forever, bro. And, of course, hashtag Junkhand out of nowhere. All our funny sayings here on the podcast. We got tons of great merchandise like t-shirts, tank tops, and hoodies for men and women. We got mouse pads, pillowcases, buttons, phone cases, tablet cases, mugs, travel mugs, water bottles, various types and styles of bags, and we got various types and styles of ball caps as well. Whatever we don't have, it's either not offered or it might be offered and we just don't have it up there. You can hit us up, and I will try to remedy that situation if you want some great swag that we just don't offer. I'll try to help you out and hook you up. Again, redbubble.com/people/pod Society, or there's always shop.spreadshirt.com/podcast-wrestling-society, and get yourself some PWS swag and get the look, bro. And if you are looking to give money elsewhere, it is the season of giving, and we can help you if you give us your money. You need to head over to advertisecast.com/podcast wrestling society. There you can see the outreach of the podcast and our demographic, as well as our social media footprint. You can see all the stats you need to know about the podcast and About Me section, about the podcast, and about me, your benevolent host and loving leader as well. Also, you can see our rates on there, which are very important if you want to advertise with us. We will take 10, 15, 30, 60, or 120-second promos. We'll do live reads, whatever you want. We will help you get the word out, bro, about your product, your podcast, yourself, whatever you want. Just hit us up. We will help you out. If you hook us up, we'll hook you up. That's advertisecast.com/podcast wrestling society. And finally, while we're shilling everything right here, right now, I do want to let you know about WrestlingWithWrestling.com. On WrestlingWithWrestling.com, I finally started posting our stuff again, trying to keep up and post the backlogged stuff. So you can keep up with us on WrestlingWithWrestling.com yet again, not just where you are keeping up with us now, but there's other great stuff on there as well. Some other great podcasts like the Smash This podcast, where they cover MLW Fusion. There's the Shane Douglas Triple Threat podcast. There's the Andre Corbeil show. He's a friend of the show. There's also friend of the show, Jacob Grandi's 205 Jive podcast, where he keeps up with 205 Live. There's anything you need to know news-wise or current events-wise about WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan, and Ring of Honor, indie wrestling here in the States and abroad for all of you international listeners. And there's so much more. Like I said, it's WrestlingWithWrestling.com, covering all four corners of the ring. And I think that about does it for now. Are you ready to get into this week in wrestling history?
Yeah, that's always fun. That I'm ready for.
Yeah. All right. It's actually, and I'm not being sarcastic with this, we actually have some good stuff. So let's hit it, bro.
What happened this week in wrestling history?
I don't know why. I like when it sounds all regal and like, you know, it's, I mean, it is kind of a big deal, you know, to us, but I make it sound like it's something huge. But all right. Let's, you know, like I did last week, I cover about a 3-day period in the week. You know, this is being posted on December 12th, so we will cover yesterday, today, and tomorrow in wrestling history. Let's cover December 11th. Thursday, December 11th, 2014, was NXT TakeOver R Evolution. You remember that one, Greg?
I do.
That was the debut of Kevin Owens. He defeated C.J. Parker, known today as Juice Robinson in New Japan. Sami Zayn
Shattered his nose, bro.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And put a big old gash in his hand from a palm strike. Bad. Not good. Got it in.
One.
Sami Zayn also defeated Adrian Neville to become the NXT champion in a 4 3/4 star match, according to Uncle Dave. Kevin Owens then proceeded to lay out Sami Zayn after his match, which started their feud again, but this time under the WWE banner. Sunday, December 11th, 2011, was TNA's Final Resolution 2011, where Bobby Roode defeated AJ Styles in a 30-minute Iron Man match to retain the TNA title in a 3.5 star match. I don't remember that one. Do you?
I do.
I got to go back and watch it now. I remember his a lot of Bobby Roode's matches during the that reign as champion. I don't remember this one right off the top of my head. Saturday, December 11th, 2010, was WWE's Tribute to the Troops that year. Sunday, December 11th, 2005, was TNA Turning Point, where Sabu defeated Abyss in Barbed Wire Massacre. You remember that one?
Yeah. It's a 1/4 star.
Yeah, I didn't get the star rating for this one, but...
Oh, I'm just assuming, because that match sucked. Yeah.
It was just two men throwing themselves into barbed wire. And of course, you know...
that's money.
You know, I think Abyss asked for this match, and every single time he does that, he ends up tripping over his own junk and falling into stuff and getting pinned. He was the biggest idiot in TNA history.
I mean,
Is, whatever. Samoa Joe defeated AJ Styles for the X Division title in a 4 3/4 star match. And then the main event, who else was Jeff Jarrett retaining the NWA title against Rhino. Let's bring in Rhino, have him job out to Jarrett, bro. There you go.
Spike TV wants Jarrett as their champ, not Rhino or Raven, bro.
Yeah,
Neither one of them.
He crapped. He was to TNA and ECW what Triple H was to WWE and WCW. Instead of Jarrett was like, let's bring in all the old ECW guys so I can bury them. December 12th, moving on now. Friday, December 12th, 2014, was PWG's Black Coal Sun. I just had to point that out because I love the name of that show, because Adam Cole, you know, it was like based off him. I think that was one of his last shows in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. No, it was not, but he was heavily featured on this show. I remember that. Sunday, December 12th, 2004, was WWE's Armageddon. The main event was JBL retaining the WWE title in a fatal 4-way match against Booker T, Eddie Guerrero, and The Undertaker. Yes, JBL beat those guys. Let that sink in.
Which one of these guys does not belong?
I don't know. Sunday, December 12th, 1999, was Armageddon 99. This one actually seemed like a good show. Chris Jericho defeated Chyna for the Intercontinental title. Believe it or not, that feud was not bad. The Rock and Sock Connection defeated the New Age Outlaws to become the tag team champions. This one, a 3-minute match. The Big Show retained the WWF title against Big Boss Man. Got to squash him in 3 minutes, bro, because Triple H and Mr. McMahon in No Holds Barred went for 30 minutes. Maybe I should take back what I said about this being a good show.
There were a couple of highlights.
Yeah. And then finally, Tuesday, December 12th, 1989, was No Holds Barred, the match, the movie. It was a taping. Hulk Hogan and Brutus the effing barber beefcake. Shout out to Conrad Thompson. They defeated Randy Savage and Zeus in a steel cage match.
And if you haven't seen that match, seriously, don't watch it.
I haven't seen the steel cage. I've seen their was it Survivor Series or no SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, SummerSlam. I've seen that.
Believe it or
match.
not, that match was better
Than the steel cage, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this way.
You know what? I think I hear a watch along coming.
Oh God. Well, along with that great match from Puerto Rico that you found.
I was going to say, that's like 2 Zeus matches I've suggested in a week. I don't know if that's good or not.
It's not good, but we can make it happen because, we torture ourselves for your enjoyment, ladies and gentlemen. We will make it happen. All the magic, bro. All right, and last but not least, we're covering December 13th. On Sunday, December 13th, 2009, was WWE TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. This one seemed like a decent show. You might remember it better than I do. My memory is crap for not even being 30. Christian retained the ECW title against Shelton Benjamin in a ladder match. Sheamus defeated John Cena in a tables match to win the WWE title. The Undertaker retained the world title against Batista in a chairs match. And then I remember this one. DX defeated Jericho in a TLC match to unify the tag titles.
Yeah, that was a great pay-per-view.
Yeah, so there's that one. And then Sunday, December 13th, 1998, was WWF Rock Bottom. You remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Mankind defeated The Rock to win the WWF title, which is funny that The Rock lost on a pay-per-view named after him. And the main event was Stone Cold Steve Austin defeating The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match.
We're going to bury him alive. He's going to be gone forever, bro.
His hand's going to pop up like the end of Carrie, bro.
Wrong buried alive.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. What gets me is it's like, hey, Rock, we're going to name this pay-per-view after you, but you're not going on last, and you're not going to win your match. But have fun out there, buddy. Whatever. And then finally, Wednesday, December 13th, 1989, was NWA Starrcade 89. This one seemed like a weird show. Not a single title on the line. The Road Warriors defeated the new Wild Samoans, which was Fatu and the Samoan Savage, whoever the hell that was, to win the tag team tournament. And then Sting defeated Ric Flair in a 4 1/4 star match to win the Iron Man tournament. I don't remember Starrcade 89. Do you?
No.
Yeah, I wasn't a WCW NWA guy growing up. I am more as an adult looking back in retrospect, but I don't know. This seemed like a really weak Starrcade. Not a single freaking title on the line. It was all round robin tournaments. I think that was the one. Yeah, I believe that was the one that Jim Cornette had a baby about because he was like, well, somebody's got to do the job like 3 times in one night. Who the F is going to do that? Turned out that was Great Muta did the job 3 times in one night. So thanks, New Japan. All right, thanks for letting us use your talent, New Japan. Now we're going to job him out. Let's get into the few news stories that we have. Bro. All right. Wrong sounder, bro. But anyway,
hey, Robbie E. ruled. It's good enough.
Said no one ever. Well, have you heard the back and forth about Alexa Bliss this past week?
Yeah.
First, it came out she's
clear. That she's not cleared.
Yeah. Well, apparently it was Mark Henry who said, of all effing people, who said, "Oh yeah, she's 100% ready to go," and then people came out later and was like, "No, she's not." Sound like, since when is Mark Henry the authority? Like, I believe.
Well, I mean, this is the second time you've questioned him being the authority on something.
Right? I was about to say,
becoming an issue.
You and I have said this before. Like, there's about something else, but this other one, Tegan Knox has given an update regarding her current injury status. In a Twitter post, she talked about undergoing a knee scope, I guess 2 Thursdays ago. She said, I wish...
Yeah, she told me that when we were on our date, yeah.
You wish. She said, I had to undergo a knee scope on my left knee to clean out some of the gunk that built up over the past few months after the ACL meniscus repair. She wrote, saying that the reason for the scope was that there was a bump in the knee that was causing her to have issues. That issue has now been fixed. She also noted that her rehab was heating up and credited the WWE Performance Center staff for her rehab. Ugh, man. She has, like, the worst luck ever since Chris Sabin.
I know, poor girl.
I know. And she's so hot. Did we say that already? I mean, not that that has anything to do with her knee, but it needs to be said, I feel. Right?
No, it doesn't need to be said at all.
Well, yeah, you're right.
It really doesn't.
Well, you're right, because it's super obvious. So I guess it doesn't, like, if it's right there in your face, does it really need to be said? I don't know. But anyway, I'm kind of joking. I don't know. Anyway,
move on.
Get better soon, Tegan. She's a really good wrestler, so I do want to see her. Her and Dakota Kai can get called up and go for them women's tag belts.
Oh, it's interesting you said that. I think I just read Dakota Kai might have gotten hurt tonight.
Oh, with what?
At a NXT house show, they took her out of the ring in the middle of a 6-woman tag match. And
did they say what the issue was?
Knee.
Oh, God. Her too?
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask her tomorrow when we're on our date.
We should double, save some money.
Yeah, right? Yeah, just go have
and then we'll wake up.
Oh, my God. This is a really sad segment to this podcast, but oh, God.
Can't laugh at yourself. Who can you laugh at? Come on.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, these stories, you would know more about it than I do. You were talking to me about this first one going into the UFC here. UFC says they're looking to move Henry Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw to their ESPN Plus debut.
Oh, no, not looking to it. It's already officially done.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'm pretty ticked because, I have plans to go to UFC 233 in Anaheim, and that was the main event.
What is ESPN Plus? Is that like an online thing, or is that a channel?
It's a channel. I think it's just the original one, I believe.
I don't know. Well, they say ESPN Plus. I thought it was like something. I don't know. Whatever.
Could be a Disney thing. I don't know. I mean, they're calling their new service Plus too. So.
Yeah. I don't know. So there's that. Also, according to a report, the UFC is looking to book someone with domestic violence accusations on the same show as the fighter who just survived a domestic violence incident. However, during an interview with TSN's Aaron Bronstester, I believe, I might have butchered that name, on Thursday, UFC President Dana White said that Rachel Ostovich is, quote, totally cool with Greg Hardy being on the same January ESPN Plus debut card with her. Is she,
I don't even know that's a story.
Yeah, well, because it was a big thing before where she came out. She
they have
spoke out
nothing to
against
do with
him.
one another.
Yeah, but she like publicly spoke out against him, so that's why it's a story.
No, she didn't. She flat out said that has nothing to do with me. No, she said it had nothing to do with her, and she doesn't even see what's an issue.
Then who am I thinking?
It's his own thing.
I could have swore there
no
was
clue.
I could have swore there was, because I know that was a story
that
before.
guy, by the way, is Greg Hardy. He used to play for the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty big name, so
yeah,
it's not that guy.
Well, I know
it's another joke story like CM Punk, but
wow, you just triggered the marks, bro.
Well, it is. He's getting on pay-per-view because of his name and what he did before.
Yeah.
That's not CM Punk.
Wow.
Although, to be really, really fair, he's had a couple of fights on that Tuesday Night Contender series, and he's won them. So he's not just being thrown around pay-per-view, to be fair.
Well, there you go. But all right, well, that's all the news, bro, that I have. Also, for any of you that care,
wrap it up.
I guess Will Ospreay is returning to the ring for the finals of New Japan's Tag League. So, good to see Will Ospreay back, even though I'm not like his biggest fan, but, he is cool, and I hate to see people go down with injuries. So, good to see him back.
#dive.
Good Lord. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will jump right into our 1995 year in review. We're going to start.
Oh, God, we gotta?
Oh, yeah. I took extensive notes, bro, on Royal Rumble 1995, live from the Sun Dome in Tampa Bay, Florida, bro. We're going to take a quick break, let you know about some other great podcasts on the Drama City Productions Podcast Network when we return. It's Royal Rumble 95.
DramaCityProductions.com.
Paycheck. Red. Let's talk about Paycheck and Red. Because these boys don't just talk the talk. They are best friends. They see eye to eye. They communicate. They understand each other and they understand the world we live in. They're weird enough to superimpose pictures of their faces onto pictures of other people. Let that sink in. Johnny Paycheck. Wayne Red Nancy.
Drama City Productions presents.
Hey, it's Ben here, host of the Regular Stories podcast, a podcast where I interview interesting people about their lives. These are not celebrities, they're not the elite. These are regular people, and these are their stories. You can follow us on Facebook at Regular Stories and on Instagram at Regular Stories. We are everywhere that you can get a podcast. We are on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, just about everywhere else. Look up Regular Stories Podcast.
We are back, and you know what that means, Greg. It's time for our new subject at hand. It is Royal Rumble 1995. You ready for this?
Screw all of you for listening.
Hey, they voted for it, okay? So they clearly want to hear this.
Yeah.
Think about that. Just think about it. But all right. For all of you, the way I did this was, and Greg remembers most of this stuff. This is kind of like how I read along last time, and he actually tortured himself by watching the Vince Russo crap. This one, you remember most of it because you were actively watching. I didn't start watching wrestling until the tail end of 97, very beginning of 98. So the road to WrestleMania 14, I started watching. So I have no firsthand knowledge of any of this stuff. So I'm watching it in full, and I'm taking notes. So I'm the one torturing myself this time.
Ha.
Yeah, right. All right, well, let's jump right into it. The Royal Rumble 1995, as I said, live from the Sun Dome in Tampa Bay, Florida. The show starts off with a limo pulling up. They're playing some porno music over this whole thing, by the way.
You get to it. Sorry.
Yeah, well, the first person we see all excited for the limo pulling up is Dink the effing clown. He's jumping.
Was Glacier with him?
I wish. How many times can you see them two together, man? That's great. You got to get in there.
He was right. Never again. He was right.
Yeah, that is true. But anyway, he's the one. He's jumping for joy. He runs down the hall, flags down the rest of the roster of misfits. They all come running down to see Pamela Anderson step out. She waves at the camera and then walks to her locker room as the WWF superstars look disappointed that she really didn't give a damn about them.
Let's point out, by the way, this is the unofficial debut of the world's largest love machine, Viscera, because he was there.
Yeah, and by this time, by the way, I didn't know that as Mabel he had a bleach blonde mohawk ever, but he did in 95. So there's that. That was pre-Viscera. Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler are commentating for this, and they were doing something different in 95 where they were sitting, they were not sitting at ringside. They were on this like long stage. They just had like a regular table. They were on this long stage sitting like somewhere in the crowd. It was weird.
It was almost like the old WWF Superstars. That's what they did too.
Yeah.
And back in the day for Saturday Night's Main Event.
Yeah, and they'd like turn around and talk to the camera, and then they'd sit down. It was a weird-ass setup. You could see the ring like way off in the distance. Well, if you want to open up a pay-per-view hot, how else but Intercontinental title match between Razor Ramon and Jeff Jarrett, baby. JEFFJARRETT. No, he was not great. This, I took this note just because I always have to pop when I see this guy. Tim White was the referee.
Well, that's not wise.
Yeah, Mr. White, that's not wise. This was before he started trying to kill himself for comedic purposes on WWF television, so there's that.
Oh, what's not funny about suicide? Come on.
You know what? I'm with you, bro. God dang it. And that was not Russo, by the way, I don't believe. No, that was way past Russo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it was.
Can't even
kill Tim White. He's be gone forever, bro.
Oh, God. Anyway.
I had to get one in.
Right. Razor Ramon is the defending champ here, for all of you. The crowd blows their crap for Razor, by the way. He's huge over. He tweaked his knee.
I believe they were in Miami, too, so...
yeah, they were close. They were in Tampa. Yeah, close enough. So yeah, they kept putting it over as his home state. So there you go. But Razor tweaked his knee, getting thrown over the top rope, and then the roadie chop blocks him behind the referee's back, and then he gets counted out. Jeff Jarrett says, "No one wants to." This is really what he said. He said, "No one wants to see me get my hand raised," and then he says, he wants the belt. I'm like, you just said nobody wants to see you win, but at the same time, you want to win. Like, what are you saying, Jeff? But then he challenges Razor to a rematch. Razor accepts. And then the finale was Razor attempts a Razor's Edge. His knee gives out on him, and then Jarrett gets him into a small package and wins the title. My final conclusion of this, it was a very sloppy opening match between two pretty good workers. I don't know. I was not into this match at all. A lot of blown stuff. I don't know why they didn't seem to work well together here. It was kind of crud match. I gave it 1 1/4 Uncle Dave's.
Well, then your WrestleMania 11 one better be about a half an Uncle Dave, because that match was even more brutal, but we'll get to that later.
Actually, I thought the WrestleMania match was a little better than this. But I don't know.
You could not have possibly thought that.
I did. I thought it was they didn't blow as many spots. I don't know. This one just seemed like, I don't know, like they were just, the timing was off with everything. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's called the year 1995.
God. But yeah, so there's that. And by the way, for all of you that don't know, that have not listened to my review shows before, I don't give star ratings. I give Uncle Dave's. So
because he is a loyal nephew.
I'm not even going to say it, but eat an Uncle Dave. How about that? I got to ask, who the heck?
There's a good joke there. I peed next to him, and
You did. He peed next to him. For all of you that don't know, he peed next to him at a Sharks game.
You had a good joke there. You missed that one. Whatever.
I know.
I'm a little disappointed in you, but whatever.
Wow. Prom night flashbacks. Anyway. I got to ask, who the hell is Stephanie Wyant? And why is she holding a microphone backstage?
She was just like their backstage interviewer.
Yeah, that one, she must not have lasted very long. But anyway,
half a year maybe.
Yeah. Well, Todd Pettengill is with Pamela Anderson, and check that frickin' mullet on Todd. But he's in Pam's dressing room, showing her stupid gifts that the WWF Superstars allegedly gave to her. Like, Henry Godwin gave her a piggy bank. And then Todd...
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It was so stupid. Didn't the Bushwhackers give her like a thing of sardines or something?
I don't remember that one. There was a lot of dumb stuff. But Todd awkwardly...
Yeah, that sounds right up the alley. So yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. Then Todd awkwardly flirts with her before sending it back to Stephanie, who attempts to interview Jeff Jarrett, who just won't stop yelling about himself. He won't shut up the whole time. And then he says he's going to go see Pamela. End of the interview. Oh, man. Have fun. Well, he needs to bring his father with him so he can teach Pamela how to make a good chicken salad. Huh?
You know.
Well, you know. This next match here is this is a barn burner. I actually like both these guys. One of them in particular. It's Death versus Taxes. IRS versus The Undertaker, baby. You know where this one's headed.
God. Yeah.
IRS. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just real quick on that. I think Bruce Pritchard, I don't know if he was joking, but he said at one time they did think about pairing them up and calling them Death and Taxes.
He was asked repeatedly about that. He says he's like, I swear to God, that was an idea. So, yeah,
That's brutal.
That would have been funny, but stupid. Well, IRS comes out and tells the crowd, quote, "No one will rest in peace until you all pay your taxes." Paul Bearer carries out a huge urn this time. Huge. It's not
huge.
It's like the
big league urn.
Wow. It's the bigger size one, and every time he carried that one, it had the light inside. So
yeah.
So you knew it was coming. But IRS basically plays keep away with The Undertaker for about 3 to 4 minutes before they finally start fighting, and The Undertaker starts cremating him. DiBiase brings 2 druids down to ringside. Vince McMahon speculates who they might be, saying, maybe one of them is Tatanka. I get it, because he was part of the corporation, or like the $1 Million Corporation, but you can see their skin color. No. All right? The druids help IRS take control. Undertaker finally wins with a choke slam. Then the druids attack Undertaker during his Shakespeare pose. He lays him out when King Kong Bundy comes out. Hooray. IRS attacks Paul Bearer and, quote, repossesses the urn. Where's Repo Man? Bundy then hits his...
You said that.
Bundy then hits it. Oh, he's coming up, by the way. He's not in WWF anymore, but he is doing some fun stuff in 95.
Oh, that's right. Oh, let's not get ahead. You're right. You're right.
But Bundy hits his corner splash. What was it? The condominium crush or whatever the hell? Or
the avalanche. He's the walking condominium.
Okay.
God, you're stupid.
Oh, yeah, because that's what was bad about this. But anyway, he hits that, then he hits an elbow drop, and then he hits this splash that's like a mile away from The Undertaker. So then he must have realized how much it looked like crap, so he does another one that actually looks decent before leaving with DiBiase.
Looks decent, yeah. Damage done, though.
Yeah.
Whatever.
My final conclusions, not a bad match for what it was, but there was tons of interference by the unknown druids. This sets up for one of the worst WrestleMania matches of Undertaker's career. 1.5 Uncle Dave's. There you go. Oh,
man. You oversold it on that one.
Yeah, there's only like a couple matches that hover around 2, by the way, I'm going to say, on this whole card. But next, we go to Todd Pettengill, who's interviewing Diesel and Bret Hart about their matches later tonight, in 2 different segments, I might add. Todd comes off super goofy. I didn't put details.
You don't say.
Yeah, I didn't put details. I just noted that he seems super goofy. But next we go to Diesel defending the WWF title against Bret Hart. These two had a unique chemistry with one another, I'll say. Diesel goes to shake hands with Lawrence Taylor, who the commentators keep mentioning, who is in the front row. With no backstory, I'm not sure if Bret Hart is a heel or babyface. Just putting that out there. They work the same match that they always do together, with Bret clearly leading the much less experienced champion. Diesel turns it around with reversing a whip into the steel steps. Bret cheats multiple times. That's why I don't know if he's a heel or face. But by the end, I assumed he was a babyface. The crowd still cheers for Bret every time
he didn't come out of a box, did he?
Yeah, right. But yeah, the crowd still cheers for Bret every time he cheats. It's like Hogan. About a third of the audience even boos when Diesel signals for the jackknife. Not joking. Diesel has Brett covered for after the jackknife, but Shawn Michaels jumps into the ring and attacks Diesel's leg. Shawn leaves, and the match restarts.
I forgot about all this. No, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah,
I just remember what's coming.
Yeah. Well, he attacks Diesel's leg. They DQ him, and then they restart the match because there must be a winner. And then Brett has used the ring post 3 times. He's used his wrist tape, and he even used an effing chair right in front of the ref. That finally got him some boos. And he doesn't get disqualified. At this point, I'm thinking it's TNA rules here because nothing matters. And then Owen Hart runs in, and he breaks up the sharpshooter and throws Brett into an exposed turnbuckle. Owen then leaves, and the ref continues the match again.
Yep.
Diesel goes, he picks up a padded chair, because if there's one thing I'm afraid of, it's a chair with padding on it. But he goes to use it, but then he thinks better of it and just drops it. No, never to be mentioned again. Brett goes for the O'Connor roll and bumps the ref, because there's got to be a ref bump. And then Shawn Michaels, Jeff Jarrett, the Roadie, and Bob Backlund all rush the ring and beat up both men. Finally, the ref calls for the bell, throws the damn thing out. After the match, they continue the attack, and then Diesel beats everyone up and saves Brett. They shake hands and celebrate as the crowd blows their crap. Oy vey.
I forgot how many run-ins there were.
Tons. This was like TNA
I think
circa
everybody
2011.
got a run-in. I think everybody got a run-in.
Oh, they did. Yeah. Final conclusion. What overbooked bullcrap? This is exactly what I wrote. And I couldn't tell if Brett was turning or if he was just a bad babyface. However, I'm a sucker for both of these guys. 2.5 Uncle Daves. For reference, this was my highest rated match on the entire card, and it was not a good one.
Okay.
So take that for what you will. And then, of course, we go back to another Pamela Anderson segment. She's getting dressed behind a screen in her locker room while Todd Pettengill is perving out.
Well, he is a heterosexual male, so...
Yeah, but good Lord, was he goofy. Speaking of goofy, Stephanie...
Oh, that's not a good transition. Good Lord.
Stephanie Wyant is interviewing the dynamic team of 123 Kid and Bob Sparkplug Holly.
Bob effing Sparkplug Holly.
Man, Sparky Plug. And Holly makes a reference to the San Diego Chargers going to the Super Bowl, and he sounds so robotic. It's just bad.
They're getting their shot tomorrow night.
Yeah.
One of our loyal listeners will probably look fondly on this. They did not win.
Yeah, where are they now, Greg?
Beating the hell out of them.
Yeah.
I think it was like 49 to like 20 or something like that.
Jerry Lawler.
Coincidentally, the score was 49. That's funny.
Wow. Jerry Lawler, by the way, they pull up a still photo of Pam Anderson getting out of the limo and walking past all the superstars. Jerry Lawler does his best John Madden impression, and he does one of them where he takes a pen and draws over the screen, whatever. This takes 5 effing minutes for him to finish this crap. He's trying to draw a picture of himself.
That's what you want to buy a pay-per-view for.
Oh, yeah. He's trying to draw a picture of himself kissing Pam Anderson. Vince is bored. It takes him forever. This is super annoying, and the crowd the entire time chants Burger King. Not joking.
Well, the crowd could see this?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Or if it was just the crowd near them, they could hear it. They started chanting Burger King. So I don't know. But then we move on to our last match before the Royal Rumble. It is Tatanka and Bam Bam Bigelow defending the tag team titles. You heard me right.
No. There were no champions.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah, this was for the vacant tag team titles. It was Tatanka and Bam Bam Bigelow, the $1 Million Corporation, going up against 123 Kid and Bob effing Holly. I said, why did Kid and Holly come out to Holly's music? That made me laugh. I also
that's what you're.
I know it's a weird team, but I was just like, of the two guys, why are they coming out to Sparky Plug's theme? I have a classic Jax figure of that 1, 2, 3 Kid attire, by the way.
Oh, freaking course you do.
It was a cool attire. It's like
I have a Mattel 1, 2, 3 Kid right here. I'm looking right at it.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's that 1, 2, 3 Kid actually. He has that tag title.
No, he's in the blue, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no, it wasn't. This was the Jax figure was the one. He's in like white, black with like gold trim. Title. Yeah, I know. I have that same figure. I have two. I have a Jax and then a Mattel. But anyway,
everyone should have two of those. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I also have multiple X-Pacs, so I love Sean Waltman. Bob Holly hits I skipped one thing. Vince McMahon keeps referring to Tatanka as Native American Tatanka, as if we didn't know. But Bob Holly...
Well, he could easily, be the Spanish Tatanka. You don't know.
God dang it. Shut up.
Just saying.
Bob Holly hits the ugliest flying head scissors I've ever seen on Tatanka. You heard me right. Bob Holly hit flying head scissors. But Tatanka basically just took a front flip himself. Bam Bam throws 1, 2, 3 Kid about 20 feet into the air for a pop-up powerbomb. But Kid catches him in a Hurricane Rana where it looked like both men about died and landed on their heads. Bam Bam shows that he truly is the most agile big man ever. He did a lot of really impressive stuff, including like a front gainer enziguri. I was super... I miss Bam Bam. He was great. The King spends about 10 minutes explaining a Sally Struthers joke to Vince McMahon. I'm not joking. This went on forever because Vince didn't get it, and the King, Jerry Lawler, insisted that Vince has to get this joke. Vince said, quote, I had to write this down like word for word. He said, no one knows tag team wrestling quite like Ted DiBiase, except for maybe Captain Louis Albano. He said this. I didn't know what to say after this. I just shook my head and face palmed. The Kid does a tope on Tatanka, and Vince calls it a moonsault.
Of course he did.
Because Vince has special needs. The Kid gets dirt or pop or something all over his tights. He looks filthy. I don't know what the hell he landed in. Tatanka clearly sees Bam Bam going for a moonsault, but he hits the ropes anyway, causing Bam Bam to fall flat back. And then Kid takes about 20 minutes to pin him. That's the finish. That's it. I'm like, how hard did you hit, Bam Bam? But LT is at ringside, as we mentioned. He goes for...
Also, real quick, they'll lose the titles of Smoking Guns the next night.
God dang. Well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, think about this. For one night, Bob Holly and 1, 2, 3 Kid were the tag champs of the world. Hallelujah. But anyway, LT is at ringside, as we mentioned. He goes to shake Bam Bam's hand, but Bam Bam shoves him. One of LT's men ruins the whole thing by shouting, he's crazy, that guy.
In the most thick New York accent you've ever heard.
It was so bad. By the way, the whole crowd is into this. They're chanting LT, LT, even though they're in Arizona.
They're in Florida.
Or Florida. You're right, Florida. So on the other side of the...
It's one of those sunny, hot states. Yeah,
one of them. But either way, they're nowhere near San Diego. So... whatever.
Well, you played for the New York Giants.
Okay, I'm thinking of the wrong LT. You are correct, sir.
Oh, screw the other LT.
You know what I always think of with LT besides this match is, you know, kids, that brings me to another good point. Don't do drugs.
And he would know.
Oh my God, I know. My final conclusions. This match was given 15 minutes. It dragged and dragged and dragged. It was boring, but it wasn't that boring. It was just long and very average. Not much heat from the crowd at all. 2 Uncle Daves.
Gonna be honest, man. When I was a kid, I marked for that ending.
I mean, the ending was weird because Bam Bam laid there dead for like 20 minutes while the Kid crawled to a pin.
Just say WrestleMania 19. We got it.
Yeah. We now go to the back. Shawn Michaels and Lex Luger give separate promos backstage. Luger seems to think that the louder he gets, the more serious he sounds, which makes me believe...
Was he trying to take his shirt off, too?
God. Well, this... Judging by SuperBrawl 5, Lex Luger clearly studied promos at the NWA School of Promos because it was really loud and shouty. We'll get to that here in a moment.
Shouty.
Yeah. And then Vince McMahon apologizes to the world and to Lawrence Taylor for what Bam Bam did. Then the camera shows the back of his head for the next 10, 15 seconds. It was just super awkward.
So he's not going to apologize to the world for putting this pay-per-view on.
That's later. But then Pam Anderson comes out and the camera shows a sign that's in the dark, so literally no one can read it. It was just super awkward. And I'm like, why is Pam Anderson here? Just to be like, hey, look who we got. It was, I don't know. It was dumb. She played no part in this show other than wasting time on stupid segments backstage with Todd Pettengill getting a hard-on. I don't...
Sorry, how is that wasting time? I don't... Whatever.
Oh yeah, because everybody wants to see Todd Pettengill get his blue chew on.
Todd freaking Pettengill.
Where is he now, Greg?
He's doing radio shows now with bleach blonde spiky hair.
Oh God, so he's Guy Fieri. Got it.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess it's time to dive into the Royal Rumble match, y'all. I'll try to fly through most of this stuff with a Rumble here. Vince McMahon makes sure to let everyone know that it's only 60-second intervals now instead of 90 seconds between entrants. I didn't know that was a big
so
thing.
It could be more fast and furious. Wow.
Yeah, and we had a ton of guys in the ring at one point. There was twice in the match where, nobody was being eliminated. There was, 10 dudes in the ring at once, and it was just ridiculous. I was like, what the hell? Nobody could bump. Shawn Michaels is number 1. British Bulldog is number 2. I totally forgot that Bulldog was wearing, Rusev-style shorts at this point, by the way. And he'd taken out the dreads, and he just had, kinky long hair. It was a weird look for Bulldog. Anyway,
kinky long hair.
You know what I mean.
That's a little weird, but whatever.
Yeah, you're a little weird, but whatever. Burn, bro.
Okay.
I don't know.
Terrible, but come on.
Whatever. Eli Blue is number 3. Until he came out, I forgot the Blue Brothers were a thing. Duke Drozy. Duke the Dumpster Drozy is number 4. As he's coming out, Vince McMahon says, if anyone can take out the trash, then Duke gets kicked in the face. That was great. Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey. Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey is number 5. He comes out with Jim Cornette, who walks out, lets the crowd see him, turns around, goes right to the back. I'm not joking. Sione, who is the Barbarian, is number 6. I completely forgot that. Actually, I never knew that the Barbarian went by Sione. It was weird.
Yep.
He comes out with Captain Lou Albano and Fatu. Del Rey was eliminated.
Who knows tag team wrestling, by the way?
Yeah, right. Almost as much as Ted DiBiase. Del Rey was eliminated number 1. Dr. Tom Pritchard is number 7. Doink the Clown is number 8. He comes out with Dink. Not joking. Quang is number 9. Who remembers Quang? Show of hands. Rick Martel is number 10. Oh, by the way, Vince lets us know that Quang is a martial arts expert. So keep that in mind.
Something tells me he's lying, but anyway.
Yeah, the Puerto Rican that spent a lot of time wrestling in Mexico. He's a martial arts expert, everybody. Rick Martel is number 10. Owen Hart is number 11, but he gets jumped by Brett and gets the hell beat out of him. And then as soon as he gets in the ring, he was eliminated, number 2. Timothy Well is number 12 from Done Well. Or, excuse me, Well Done. I got it backwards. Who gives a damn? It's Well Done. I honestly thought...
I give a damn, thank you.
I honestly thought this was a deflated Scott Steiner when I first saw him. He looked like him. Duke Droese was eliminated number 3. Timothy Well eliminated number 4. Rick Martel eliminated 5. And then Tom Pritchard eliminated 6. Then Doink the Clown eliminated 7. This was where they started just clearing the damn ring. Bushwhacker Luke was number 13. And then Quang gets eliminated.
That's the winner right there.
Oh my God. Quang gets eliminated. Eli Blue gets eliminated. Sione gets eliminated. And then Luke gets eliminated. And now all of a sudden, Jacob Blue comes out, number 14, and gets thrown out almost right away. King Kong Bundy is number 15. Then Mo is number 16. Mabel comes out with him and then literally walks to the ring, turns around, goes right to the back. And then Mo gets eliminated. And then Mabel comes out again. Good for him for walking to the ring twice at that size.
Wow.
Sorry.
Not me. I didn't say it.
Anyway, Mabel's number 17. Bushwhacker Butch is number 18. King Kong Bundy gets eliminated. Butch gets eliminated. Lex Luger is number 19. The crowd blows their crap for him. So, people,
careful when you tell that to the marks, because
you can freaking hear it. Well, I guarantee people will say, well, they, in post-production, they sweeten the crowd. Bite me.
Of course they do.
Yeah. Mabel gets eliminated next. Mantar comes out number 20.
Yeah, Mantar.
Yeah, listen to these. Mantar's number 20. Aldo Montoya is number 21. And Henry O'Godwin is number 22.
Henry freaking Godwin.
And then Billy Gunn's number 23. Bart Gunn, number 24. Man, this was just like the parade of gimmicks. This was the gimmick battle royal right here. By the way,
this was the battle royal of occupation gimmicks.
Yeah,
Conrad calls it.
Yeah, basically. Well, and let me tell you something. Mantar comes out number 20. He lasted a long ass time. It was weird. But Bob Backlund comes out number 25, but Bret Hart attacks him before he gets into the ring. So this is 2 times we've had a Bret Hart sighting. Then Stephen Dunn comes out number 26, and then Bob Backlund gets tossed out, and then Bret Hart attacks him again. So that's 3 Bret Hart sightings, and he's not even in this match. And then, hold on to your pants for this one, Dick Murdoch is number 27. I literally wrote, what the hell is he doing here?
Oh, man.
Then Adam Bomb is number 28. Fatu, number 29.
I like how, by the way, when he comes out, Vince McMahon's like adamant. Adam Bomb's going to win it all.
Yeah, it's it was crazy. And then Mantar finally gets eliminated, number 18. Jerry Lawler says, quote, both of those big hooves hit the ground. I'm not joking. He said this.
Oh, I know.
Remember, everybody, if you don't know this, during this time, they never referred to him as having feet. They kept calling them hooves. So, yeah. And then, man, talk about, and I like this guy, don't get me wrong, and God rest his soul, but
you're about to bury him, yes, we get it.
Yeah. People blew up with boos when Roman Reigns was number 30. Talk about anticlimactic. Crush comes out number 30. God dang. Billy and Bart Gunn get eliminated at the same time for number 19 and 20. Stephen Dunn is eliminated next. Adam Bomb next. Aldo Montoya, yes, he was still in there, gets eliminated 23.
That's what the click will do for you.
Yeah. Hey, for those of you that don't know, Aldo Montoya was part of the Click. Believe it or not, he carried the bags. Fatu is
he's carrying his prison buddy's bags.
Oh, God. Yeah, I forgot to throw that story in there. I guess he was brought up on several charges for something. I don't know.
Again.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't think to add it in there, because it was like, SSDD. Same stuff, different day. Adam Bomb gets eliminated. I'm sorry, I already said that. Fatu gets eliminated 24. And then Dick Murdoch was eliminated, number 25. He gave Henry Godwin an airplane spin, goes to dump him over the top rope, but Henry holds on, but Dick is so dizzy that he just flops out of the ring.
You just said Dick is dizzy.
I did. Then finally, Henry
I'm
got...
not even trying to be immature. It's like that's an actual thing you said.
Yep, it is. That's a cut. Henry Godwin gets eliminated 26. Lex Luger was eliminated number 27. Crush, who is still in there, gets eliminated 28. Comes down to the British Bulldog and Shawn Michaels. Bulldog thinks he won when he throws Shawn Michaels over the top rope, but Shawn hangs on. Only 1 foot touches the floor. They're playing Bulldog's music and everything. He's celebrating. He won. Nope. Shawn gets in the ring, and Bulldog's on the second rope. He tosses Bulldog. He wins, and he celebrates with Pamela Anderson. This was the first time they made the rule both feet have to touch. And that's because Shawn accidentally touched. So they had to make that rule a thing. Final conclusion, too many stupid things said by Vince McMahon to write down. So many stupid gimmicks filled this ring. How many times did we have to see Bret Hart on this damn show? Even though I love Bret, but god dang. Lex Luger saved Shawn Michaels from elimination multiple times like a moron. And King kept bringing this up. He's like, Luger's a moron. He saved him again. And Vince was like, well, I don't know about that. I don't think he's stupid for that. Yes, he's an idiot. Why would you save someone from being eliminated? It was dumb. Either way, I gave this 2 Uncle Daves. Final event notes.
2 Uncle Daves.
Final event notes. Listening to Vince McMahon gives me further perspective as to why Michael Cole sucks so bad if Vince trained him. They're like stupid clones on commentary. With every single pinfall, no matter what time it occurred in the match, McMahon was confused about why it wasn't a 3 count for the baby faces. His favorite thing was, 1, 2, 3, oh, he got it. Oh, no, he didn't get him. Every effing time. This was clearly an awkward stage for the WWF, which was stuck in cartoon era while still pushing realistic stars like Bret and Owen Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Diesel. So there's the Rumble, folks.
That was brutal just to listen to. I'm glad I didn't watch it back.
You have any other notes to add?
No, just WrestleMania is going to be fun. Stay tuned.
Oh, yeah. There were, this was a time where there were no shows between Rumble and Mania, by the way. No pay-per-view shows, I should say. But we are going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we're going to dive right into WCW SuperBrawl V. It's coming to you from Baltimore, Maryland, one of their favorite stomping grounds. We will be right back after we tell you about some other great podcasts on the Drama City Productions Podcast Network.
DramaCityProductions.com.
Hey, I'm Morgan Danielle.
And I'm Luco Blaze.
And you can check us out on www.themetalexperience.com for the latest interviews featuring punk and metal bands from the Chicago area. And on our website, you can read interviews and reviews from bands all over the world in our blog section, either on Reviews from the Crypt or the Let's Chat Q&A sessions.
Also, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And remember to keep it metal.
Woo!
DramaCityProductions.com.
Game ticket, $50. Hot dog, $8. Team store item, $25.
I told him I can beat him with one hand tied behind my back, with some glasses on, with one eye lens out, with some flip-flops on in the ring.
Haven't you listened to someone's dumb sports opinions? Worthless. Some people shouldn't talk sports. For everyone else, there's the Unspoken Podcast, available on most podcasting platforms, and on the web at theunsporkensportspodcast.weebly.com.
All right. I guess it's time to jump over to, they are officially no longer Jim Crockett Promotions. They are under the Turner banner at this point. But things didn't get much better. I guess they were a little better because they had Hogan at this point. And I don't know. While you were talking about on the WWF side, every pay-per-view seemed just like an extended episode of Raw. On the WCW side, just every show just sucked. Like
You don't say.
Yeah, they sucked. Like let's run it down. This is an omen for the whole show right off the bat. I start it and I'm like,
oh, that can't be good.
Yeah, well, I started the show and I'm like, and I like looked away for a couple minutes. I was like doing something on my computer and I look up and I'm like, what happened? Did I hit something? And I rewind. Nope. It starts in the middle of a match because it said this graphic pops up on the network. It says presented in the most complete form possible due to original production technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, I had that for a few nitros.
Holy hell. Like what the F? The tape quality on this, by the way, when we get to one match is just clearly god awful. Like WWE did the best they could. God bless whoever had to sit there and watch this crap. But anyway, you want to talk about bad omens, by the way. It starts you right off in the middle of Paul Roma versus Alex Wright. Yeah.
Job guy from WWE.
And Das Wunderkind. Ah, man. Yeah, drops you right in the middle of this match. Tony Schiavone calls this, quote, one of the 7 big matches.
Yeah. He was real liberal with that word, by the way.
Oh,
you said that?
You don't say. At this point, by the way, one of Paul Roma's biggest selling points was he had, not to sound weird about it, but his selling point was he had a great body. He was tan and chiseled. That was like, well, I'm not going to say one of. That was his only selling point. So what does he do? He wears a singlet to cover it up.
Yeah.
God. And he also had like long hair at this point. He didn't even look the same. It was weird. Paul Orndorff comes out to cheer Roma on because apparently they were a thing. Was that pretty wonderful?
Pretty wonderful, yep.
Well, who could forget that? Paul Roma.
Totally not you.
Yeah. Paul Roma hits a top rope elbow drop, and they try to take a good camera angle, but there are none, and he's a good foot away from Wright's chest. Like, he takes a full-on ass bump off the top rope. No elbow connection at all. It was bad. Let's see. Then there was a horribly botched hip toss where Roma just rolls onto the apron, and then Wright drop kicks Roma's back, causing Roma to hit Orndorff, who is on the apron. They collide. Wright rolls him up with an ugly roll-up pin. Thank God that's the end of the match. My final conclusions, I said, blah match with blah guys. Even though Roma was a veteran, Wright looked like the much more competent worker to Uncle Dave's. And I was being generous.
Oh, man. The job guy from WWE. Who Ric Flair wishes he was.
And Berlin. He
forgot about Berlin.
He looked like half of Wham at this point, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Wham.
Actually, together, they looked like Wham. Just,
okay.
God. Mean Gene Okerlund is backstage interviewing the Harlem Heat. They kept calling them the Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry. She looks extra hot tonight, by the way. She was smoking. Sherry acts super crazy and gets super loud. This is the first of many shouty promos of the night. Harlem Heat just talks about how big and bad they are. For some reason, this segment just really made me miss Mean Gene Okerlund. Like, he was great. Just like little things he slipped in there and his voice and just the way he carried himself. Mean Gene was the best. Like, the best. But anyway, enough about Mean Gene. Let's get into this classic. It was Bunkhouse Buck.
Yeah, that's what I care about.
Oh, yeah. Bunkhouse Buck.
Hell yes.
He was accompanied to the ring by Colonel Robert Parker and Mang. He took on Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So, right there, man. I wrote, what the hell is up with Buck's hair? He had like a widow's peak plastered to his head. Mang is...
It sounds terrible. I want to see it now.
Yeah, you got to go look this up just for reference. Throw him into your Google machine. He's something. And he comes out dressed like he just came out of the mines or something. Meng is dressed like Curtis Hughes, sort of. He's like in an all-black suit.
Oh, yeah, all black with the glasses on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had black gloves, like a purple tie. Yeah. Jim Duggan still looks to be in fantastic shape. I will say that. And he was wearing like blue knee pads with white stars on them at this point. So he kind of changed it up a little bit. They cut away at one point to ask people to call the 900 hotline where you can talk with Mike Tenay and Randy Savage. I noted that Mike Tenay had quite a bit of hair here. So there's something. These two really beat the hell out of each other, appearing to really be trying to hurt each other at one point. Buck gets his shirt ripped off during the match because that's what we all wanted to see.
Yeah.
Duggan takes out Robert Parker.
For yourself. Sorry.
Duggan takes out Robert Parker on the outside, then hits the 3-point stance tackle for the win. And then Meng jumps in, hits a side kick, and locks in the Tongan death grip. And then two jabroni refs run in to break it up. Final conclusion. This match goes on for about 15 minutes. Not exaggerating. I checked 15 minutes, which is at least 10 minutes way too long.
It's all it got for those two?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't awful, but it just got boring and dragged. Two Uncle Daves. Like, good Lord in heaven.
Opinion.
Like, why would you give these guys 15 minutes? Who the hell wants this? You know what, Bunkhouse Buck? You deserve a quarter of an hour. Duggan, maybe. And that's pushing it. But Bunkhouse effing Buck. God dang. Who was booking? Oh, I know who was booking. He's coming up next, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. All right, now it's to the back. Mean Gene is backstage with the Nasty Boys. God dang, Brian Knobbs just shouts more and more and more. I thought he was going to blow a blood vessel.
And he's always throwing his arms out there, too. Like,
it was stupid. He even threatens Sherry, by the way, saying that if she gets involved, he's going to smack her face off of her head. Threatening female violence. Awesome.
Well, yeah, but that female could probably kick his ass, so he might want to be careful.
Pull off her stiletto and stab him with it.
Yep.
But then we get to this next one. You know, remember when I asked who the hell's booking this? It's Kevin Sullivan with...
Oh, yes!
He's being accompanied to the ring by The Butcher. And,
because why not?
Oh, yeah. And he's taking on Brother Dave Sullivan. Remember when he had a brother?
Yes. The Hulk Hogan, he idolized Hulk Hogan, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. The quality of the video, here's where I wrote, the quality of the video is completely awful. If you watch it on the network, it starts messing up here during Sullivan's entrance, which, knowing Kevin Sullivan, it may be Satan doing that. They kept making...
Wow.
Get it? Because he was a devil worshiper, you know, like...
No, I got it. I just... Yeah.
It's a joke, people. Kevin Sullivan kept, like, barking.
I'm offended by that. Sorry.
Yeah. Kevin Sullivan kept, like, barking randomly. He'd be like, "Arr! Arr!" And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it was weird. For those of you that don't know, Dave is supposed to, I guess, have special needs or something. So his trunks don't say Dave, they say Evad. Like Dave backwards. So
why wouldn't you poke fun at the handicap? That's how you book, bro.
That must be a New York thing. Bro, he's handicapped, bro. We gotta make fun of him.
What the hell?
He's not legit handicap. He's kayfabe handicap. But it's still funny, bro. And he's fat.
Oh, my God. He's fat!
He's fat. Got some fat asses. Oh, my God. But they actually called him Evad Sullivan, by the way, for those of you that don't know. Here's the ending of the match. Butcher gets up on the apron, and Kevin Sullivan sends Dave into, like, he sends Dave like face first into Butcher's face, so they like clunk heads. I knew there was a reason for this because the commentary kept talking about how the Butcher had reconstructive surgery on his face after that parasailing accident, and they mentioned it like multiple times, and I'm like, okay, who gives a damn? Like, cool, I guess, whatever. That was like 2 years ago. And then, or 3 years ago, I think. But anyway, yeah, they kept mentioning it, and this was why. Because they clunk faces, Butcher drops off the apron and writhes in pain because it re-injured his face. And the announcers sell the Butcher's reconstructive surgery, blah, blah, blah. And they say that Kevin Sullivan doesn't mind sacrificing others to get the win. And yeah, when they clunk heads, Kevin gets the roll-up win. And then Kevin starts helping the Butcher to the back and like gives up on him halfway and just like walks away from him. Starts barking. Final conclusion. Again, I feel this match dragged on way too long. It wasn't bad. It was just boring. 2 Uncle Daves. Again, I was kind of generous on this one. So there you go. We go to another terrible ripoff gimmick in the back because the Butcher wasn't enough. Mean Gene interviews Avalanche and Big Bubba Rogers.
He's not a fish. He's a man.
He wasn't a fish at this point. He was Avalanche. And he gives another shouty interview. Again, I thought he was like going to throw up a lung on this one. He was like screaming his ass off. And then Big Bubba actually gave a pretty good interview, but he sounded super, super white. These are my words that I wrote here on my notes.
Super white, got it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his name is Big Bubba Rogers, so that right there. And God rest his soul, but his legit name was Ray Traylor. That right there screams white.
Leave it alone. Not me.
Send all your hate tweets to @PodRest Society. But yeah, our next match is the best match on the whole card, and that's saying something. But it is Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry defending the tag team titles against the Nasty Boys. For some reason, Jerry Sags is insisting on no selling quite a bit in this match. Like, I'm not joking. Jerry Sags just refused to sell a damn thing in this. Like, he got rammed into, like, railings. He got hit with finishers. Just no-sold everything. It was weird. The referee gets distracted.
Maybe he wasn't hurt. You don't know.
I guess. The referee gets distracted outside. Sherry comes off the top rope with an axe handle, but she misses the Nasty Boys, and she hits Stevie effing Ray. and Stevie gets rolled up.
Conradism.
Right. And then Stevie gets rolled up for the win because you can't have Booker take the pin, bro. However...
That's a future world champ right there.
Yep.
And a Hall of Famer.
However, here's where it gets good. Randy Anderson, the referee...
I thought it was already good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Randy Anderson, who is the referee, argues that the decision and says, no. The Nasty Boys threw Booker T over the top rope, which is illegal. So Nick Patrick agrees, and he disqualifies the Nasty Boys.
Oh, yeah. That's... Yeah.
So, no title change. By the way, it was hard to tell the difference between Nick Patrick and Randy Anderson because both had that epic curly-ass mullet going on and the big epic porno stash.
What a combo.
Right. My conclusion...
You can't buy that epicness.
Right, I know. They tried, but couldn't quite. Final conclusions. Best match of the show so far. These two teams worked really well together, oddly enough, and I thought it was going to be a crap fest, but it wasn't.
Was this the match, by the way, where like they kept having two cameras like on the screen? Like, you kept splitting it?
No, that was another one. This one was one single cam. I gave this one 2 3/4 Uncle Dave's. So I think I overrated it just because it impressed me so much because the rest of the show was so damn boring. So I graded on a curve. This backstage.
That's sad.
I know, right? I'm impressed by almost anything at this point. This by far, is the best thing on the show next up. Mean Gene is backstage, and he says this is one of the 4 or 5 best pay-per-views he's ever been a part of, which I just...
Well,
I didn't know what to... I face-palmed so hard, I think I left a mark. I didn't know what to say at this point.
yeah, that TJ is now a mark, everyone.
Yeah. What do you mean now? Just kidding. But anyway, he's interviewing Sting and the Macho Man, sort of. But Macho Man walks up and says, "I'm not talking!" And then he just paces the whole time. And Sting shows that he has a big-ass welt on his chest, and he says it's from him and the Macho Man getting so worked up during their planning stages and interviews earlier. So apparently the Macho Man just chopped the hell out of him during an interview, which is weird, but not, that weird if you know the Macho Man. But Sting keeps asking Macho. He's like, and by the way, while the Macho Man's pacing around, he's also just like throwing chairs and crap all over the room. And he keeps asking, "You want to say something now?" And he goes, "I'm not talking." And then he walks off again. And he does that like 3 times. And then finally,
it sounds very awkward.
It's super weird. Sting is given the whole interview. He's doing pretty well. And then at the end, he was like, "You have anything to say now, Macho?" And he's like, and he stops and he breathes real heavy and he thinks about it. He's like, "I'm not talking." And then he just walks out of the room. And then Sting says, "Well, I'm not talking either. It's time for action." Woo! And then he leaves. It was so weird, but it was the best thing on this whole damn show. It was fun. Wrestling was fun back here. I don't know. But then we go to Tony Schiavone, who's pushing uncensored on a poor, unsuspecting audience. And we all know how that event goes. For those of you that want a reference to prepare yourself for our next episode, it's in the archives. Go check it out. It's on YouTube. Search for the Podcast Wrestling Society on YouTube. It is in there. We cover, in long form, Uncensored 1995. You've been warned. They then show a video package for Dustin Rhodes and the Blacktop Bullies feud.
Oh, hell yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Blacktop Bully is Demolition Smash, a.k.a. Repo Man, a.k.a. What was his golfer gimmick?
Oh, what's his real name again?
Darso, Barry Darso.
Yeah, hole-in-one Barry Darso.
God dang it. So yeah, there you go.
And that was not WWF.
No.
On the contrary.
Yeah, no.
That would make some sense. I mean,
yeah, no, he had terrible gimmicks in both. How do you go from Demolition Smash and then just go straight down? I don't get it.
He peaked.
I guess. And then he was like, no, I can do better. No, you couldn't. But
hey, Repo Man is still a classic. Okay, shut your mouth.
Classic crap. He made an appearance.
I said what I said.
He made an appearance in the Gimmick Battle Royal, WrestleMania 19. So there you go. Or 17, excuse me. I didn't know anything about the damn Blacktop Bully. I didn't know the whole story about the uncensored King of the Road match that's coming up. But yeah, okay, here's how it went. Blacktop Bully was a quote-unquote fan in the crowd. He was a trucker that got front row seats to WCW Saturday Night or whatever the hell. And he started, like, really heckling Dustin Rhodes, so Dustin, like, clocked him. And then they get into a brawl, and the cops arrest Blacktop Bully and drag him off. And then Colonel Parker goes, "God dang it, I can do something with that hick." And he goes and bails him out of jail for $70,000. And they kept putting that over. That's the only reason I know. They show a suitcase full of money, which is, I don't think, the proper way to bail a guy out of jail, but it happened. And I guess
You don't know?
I guess not. And I guess Blacktop Bully is Colonel Robert Parker's guy. He's going to take him straight to the top, and he's a trucker. There you go. That's what it is. But anyway, Bully comes to the ring with Robert Parker and Meng, and Commissioner Nick Bockwinkel ejects Meng before the match even starts. So there's that. This was funny. At Colonel Robert Parker, the crowd starts chanting KFC at him. That was funny.
That's not racist at all.
He was white. Come on. Another one of Parker's boys gets his shirt ripped off in this match because we all wanted to see Blacktop Bully shirtless. The bully.
Hell yeah.
The bully reverses a suplex.
Nipple action.
God. The bully reverses a suplex, landing on top of Rhodes, and Parker holds the foot so that Bully can win. Yay.
Yeah, because that totally will hold a guy down, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I know. I can't move my foot, therefore I can't get my shoulder up.
The foot stops the whole body from moving. Okay?
Exactly. Wrestling
it's like
logic.
The nucleus of the spine.
Yep. Hey, I have no defense of this. It was bad.
Move on.
My final conclusions.
Bad.
It was another really long match. Wasn't terrible, but it dragged at points. 2 Uncle Daves. Like I said, this whole card was just boring. It wasn't necessarily bad. It was just boring. Mean Gene is is backstage at this point. He's interviewing Vader. Vader gives like the 500th shouty ass interview of the night. Like, god dang. Everybody screamed on the show. It was dumb. I had to turn my volume down.
They're all excited for the Super Bowl the next night.
Yeah, I guess so. They need to be excited for something that sure as hell wasn't this. But then they take some time talking with the commentary team, just killing time so that Mean Gene can run his old ass out on the stage to introduce Ric Flair. Flair is asked if he was in Vader's limo, but Flair denies it, and he puts over WCW Huge before saying that he's going to sit at ringside with some hot women. Well, I'm glad he specified that he wasn't sitting with some ugly women.
That's a good point.
For the reference, there were no women. He was by himself, surrounded by marks. No women. So I don't know where that came from. But yeah,
do the marks have the look?
They did. He kept yelling at him, "Shut the hell up and sit down," before he slapped the hell out of him. He was doing that multiple times.
Cool.
But then we move on to this next epic match. It was the Avalanche and Big Bubba Rogers taking on Sting and Macho Man Randy Savage.
Hell yeah.
This was apparently Macho Man's WCW pay-per-view debut. So good for him, I guess. Whatever.
Now we're going to get some action, though, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. They show Great Muta sitting in the audience without paint, and he's sitting with Sonny Ono. They kept showing him.
Well, then that's not Great Muta.
Yeah, well, they kept calling him Great Muta, even though it was clearly Keiji Muto. But whatever. By the way, they showed him like 3-4 times this night. He didn't do a damn thing. They didn't say anything about him. They're just like, oh, there's Great Muta. And?
Yep, there he is.
Okay. Good for him, I guess. Whatever. He looked bored as I was.
He's alive. We now know it. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, he was sitting there looking hella bored, probably thinking, what did I get sent over here for? Let's see. Macho Man gets in Ric Flair's face at one point for, like, really no reason whatsoever. There's confusion over who the legal man is. Sting hits a flying clothesline on the Avalanche, who trips over Big Bubba, and then Sting gets the pinfall victory. Yes, off of a flying top rope clothesline. He gets the win. Makes him look like a dork. And then at the end of the match, security has to hold the Macho Man back from hitting Ric Flair, even though Flair is just sitting there minding his own business. Macho Man's just blowing a gasket. Pretty good match. I give it 2 3/4 Uncle Dave's. It's tied with the tag team titles match. So it's only because these guys are just great workers. These guys have to work really hard to have a bad match. I'll say that. So it was good for what it was. It was a weird match. But then we go back to the final interviews of the night. Mean Gene is interviewing Hulk Hogan with Jimmy Hart. And Jimmy Hart looked like a damn cartoon character, as always.
Was it like some bright, like, loud jacket?
Yep, and he had like a Stars and Stripes tie. So yeah. Hogan talks for, I'm not embellishing, he talked for a good 10 effing minutes. It was a good interview, but mother of God, it went on and on and on. I almost fell asleep. He even said at one point that this, he said, not joking, and I know, Hogan's embellished in the past, but good God, he said, quote, "This is the most important day of my life." Let that sink in. God dang.
That's some pretty low life days since he leaving Vince, huh?
Yeah. I know for a fact that both of his children were born at this point. He has been married at this point. He's won multiple world titles at this point and headlined I don't know how many WrestleManias. But this was the most important day of his life.
Maybe he was getting his biggest check from WCW since signing, maybe.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Him versus the Butcher headlined the month before. So you're wrong.
That's true. That wasn't a big night. Who's
Vader compared to the Butcher? Why did this headline Super Brawl and the Butcher gets the top spot at Starrcade?
Quit putting it like that.
Well, think about it. God dang.
No, I don't want to think about it. It's going to make my head hurt.
This was bad. Ugh. All right. Anyway, let's just get into all of it. We get to the main event here. It is the first ever meeting of these guys. It is Hulk Hogan defending the WCW World's Heavyweight title against Vader. And Hulk Hogan's got Jimmy Hart, who has a thing on his megaphone that just lets out a damn siren. That was fun. I
remember that.
The intros by Michael Buffer go on for 10 freaking minutes. Just a stupid amount of time. I was like, holy crap, just introduce them so we can get on with the fighting.
That's what Michael Buffer does, though.
I know, but it's God dang, dude, we get it. They're cool, whatever, move on. Vader ripped his mask off pretty early into the match. It wasn't even going on a full minute, and he ripped his own mask off. I was like, okay. Hogan smacks the hell out of him in the corner, and Vader just no-sells it. Hogan looked like he didn't know what the hell to do. And then Hogan goes into dirty heel mode and beats on Vader with a chair right in front of the referee. Was it a DQ? No! Because apparently the match is no disqualification, even though it's not. And we'll get to that here in a second. The referee gets bumped at one point because, there's got to be a ref bump. And
hell yeah.
Vader and Hogan, Vader has Hogan covered for a 3 count, but no one can count. No referee. So Ric Flair jumps over the barricade and gets into the ring, and he starts beating on Hogan, helping out Vader. Then Vader splashes Hogan, and Hogan kicks right out. Just no-sells the hell out of it. And then he just starts going on a no-sell rampage, even though he was just dead for ever. And now that he's getting double-teamed and splashed, now he's fine. Oh, God. Yeah. God love Hulk Hogan.
I don't get it. It makes sense.
Yep. And here's where it gets even better. The ref is up now. Flair's in the ring. He hits Hulk Hogan. Disqualification. Vader's done. Freaking Hogan was just using a chair. Chairs are legal, but outside interference is not.
No.
This whole show doesn't make sense. We saw a team get disqualified for throwing somebody over the top rope. And now chairs are legal, but outside interference, no. Throwing over the top rope, no.
You don't get it.
No, I don't. I'll openly admit it. The two heels then team up on Hulk Hogan, but Randy Savage comes out to chase him off. Vader and Flair then high five, and it's at this point that Tony Schiavone is like, it was Flair in Vader's limo. Okay, whatever. And there's some epicness to go on between these two next month. My final conclusion. Pretty good first encounter, but I hate the fact that it was such a historic match and it ended with a BS DQ finish with Flair so quickly abandoning his retirement angle to jump back into competition. Like, he was just talking about...
like Russo again.
Yeah, he was like, I'm out of the ring. I'm out of here. I'm not a wrestler. I'm a suit now. Except I'm not.
You just said... oh, God.
Yes. I gave this one 3 Uncle Daves, because it actually was a decent match up until the end. And again, I think it was just like I'm overrating it just because the rest of this card was so damn boring. This seemed better to me. I don't know. But yeah, so take that for what you will. That was SuperBrawl 5.
If you will.
Yeah. And while this...
And just think about it. That's one of their big shows, too.
Yep. Like you and I talked about this off air. When you put a number at the end of it, that generally means it's a bigger deal. And they did. SuperBrawl 5 in 95. Man, this was something else, man. But as boring as this show was, next month is going to be awful. Just a cluster you-know-what.
What are you talking about? If I'm doing my math correctly here, I believe it's WrestleMania and Uncensored. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, WrestleMania is boring. I wouldn't say it's like, the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's boring and just blah.
It's only the second worst WrestleMania I've ever seen.
Yeah, 27 beats it out. But yeah, and then this Uncensored card, just by God. We're not going to go in depth into Uncensored, by the way, because we already have. Again, go check the YouTube archives. It is available now. We will touch on it, but we won't get as in-depth as we did with these two shows. Save more time for WrestleMania, because we need more of that.
More content.
More content. All right. But, yeah, so that was that. I'm depressed now. Either way.
Yep, I'm depressed enough to go to bed.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. For the rest of you...
Yeah, you deserve it. I did the last one, okay? I suffered a lot last one.
Oh,
it's your turn to suffer a year.
You're still suffering because you're still slogging through that crap. Good for you.
Well, now it's just for fun. I figured I'm almost at the end of it anyways. Might as well finish it.
You have an odd definition of the word fun. But, all right. For all of you out there, next week we will not go over part 2 of 1995, a year in review. Next week, we will be coming at you, Greg and I, with La News and This Week in Wrestling History, and then Kyle and I will come at you at the end of that podcast with a TLC review and the review of the fallout from TLC from Raw and SmackDown of that week.
I will be at TLC.
Yeah, so give us some live reviews if you can, and I will actually be able to watch it live, well, on delay. Because I am not on delay, Greg. On delay. Got it in there. Sorry.
Clever.
Sorry.
Clever. All right, I'll owe you one.
All right, but anyway, yeah, so I'll be able to watch it on delay next weekend, or this weekend, I guess, for everybody listening. So, yeah, have fun, Greg. I'm sure you will. TLC is usually a pretty good show.
I think I'm taking my mom, so yeah, it's going to be pretty fun.
Oh, well, when I think having fun, I always think take my mom.
Well, here's the thing. She's only gone like one show before, and it was Payback, and I feel like I still owe her one.
Yeah.
I owe her one for that garbage.
Oh, you owe her. Yeah.
You owe that crap.
I hope you got her a really good Christmas present that year, because by God, that sucked a something. That sucked an Uncle Dave.
Well, all my siblings are going too, but like, she never goes. She's going this way.
Right.
But,
well, is Ramon going to be there?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, you guys have fun, and like I said, next week Kyle and I will come at you with the review and the fallout and all that good stuff. Also, this week, check on the YouTube not only for the uncensored review, because of course you got to hear that. But also,
oh yeah,
Kyle and I will. Kyle and I will give our predictions for TLC. Check those out. And 2 weeks from now, Greg will be back, and we will bring you 1995, A Year in Review, Part 2, where we will cover a little bit of Uncensored 95, as well as WrestleMania 11.
I just want to talk about the King of the Road match. That's all I care about.
Oh, we already did in long form, but we'll touch on it again.
Oh, who doesn't want to hear it again?
Yeah, gotta spend more time on that. The match that killed 3 careers in WCW. I'm not joking. And not because of the danger of the match, but because, well, we'll cover it next week.
Well,
Or
stupidity
2 weeks.
can be dangerous.
It can be. That is 100% true, and WCW proved it. But thank you for joining me today, Greg.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It in fact was. We will see you all next week. Later.
Later.
This has been a Drama City production.